Keeping you on your toes.
Yeah.
Okay. So yes, I'll give you the YouTube link. Okay.
Suspense.
Yeah.
The more.
Okay, this should be the YouTube link.
Yes, your face is there.
Great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sharing this one.
Okay. Are the students in? Okay. Have you shared it with the students?
You're sharing. I'm sharing.
Okay, so we can just go ahead then. Okay, so just a quick recap to everyone. So sorry about all of the technical difficulties that we're experiencing. YouTube crashed, so we just started a new link. So hopefully you guys can all join and we can just continue on because we have about 20 more minutes and we want to get to your questions and we want to continue hearing from all three of our awesome guests. So the last person that was talking was Teresa, and you were telling us a little bit about how you applied to your role, kind of like the doubts that you had and how you got over them. So I guess just to add to that, because I'm not sure what everybody has heard so far, I guess I'll add on to the question. So did you, when you were applying to this role that you currently have, did you build a portfolio first? And if so, what, how did you figure out how to build that and what did you put in it?
So I did have a portfolio. So we had the course projects. And I was quite eager, so I finished most of the projects on my own. And then after that, I decided to set myself a challenge to sort of make use of all the skills that I've learned to create my own app. And I decided to make a game, and because none of our course projects were games, so I made that app and I went to the interview with that, and I think it's one of the things that made them quite interested and excited because there was something that they could talk to me about. So we went through like, what do you learn on Udacity? What do you build? And then I talked them through how I built my own app as well. So I guess it gives them the confidence that they could see how I think and what motivates me. So yeah, I did have a portfolio, and I would recommend to have one. Yeah.
Great. And one last question for you. So you mentioned Udacity when you were interviewing for your role. Did the company know who Udacity was and kind of like what was their reaction? Like, did they feel pretty confident knowing that you went through this program and that you learned the things, that they were expecting, or kind of tell us a little bit about that experience?
Yeah, so I think that the few of the people that I spoke to were aware of Udacity. They didn't actually take any of the courses themselves, but a lot of like people that they mentor or juniors have used that before. And plus, because it was a scholarship, so I could say I was specially chosen to take this course, and so it gave them also like the confidence to know that someone else had sort of vetted and your interest in this field. So and I guess they were quite impressed because we had projects at the end that we could show people. So it wasn't just like completely theoretical knowledge. They could actually see, and I could show them what we've been making.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Cool. Thank you so much. Okay, so the next question, this is for you, Ein. After you landed your job, how did your level compare to your other colleagues working in the same industry in the same level? And if there were any gaps, how did you fill them?
So can you repeat the question again?
Yeah, totally. So the question is, after you landed your job, how did your level compare to your other colleagues that were in the same role as you within your company? And did you notice any gaps between your knowledge level and your colleagues? If so, how did you fill them?
So like like I said, I was working on. I was also software developer before that, and after that, after the nano degree, I also able to change to Android position. And of course, my skill level are not gonna be anywhere near the previous tech that I've been working on like 4 years or something. And yeah, but I don't think I should be paying any attention that my skill how it is compared to my colleagues or something like that, because the company that hire me, they will know how capable I am and how capable you are if you are gonna apply, and they should like give you tasks according to your skills and try to give you something more challenging so you can improve on yourself, and that will help them also. And yeah, I think you shouldn't compare yourself to others. Just know that there's something lacking. You want to improve yourself, be self-conscious about your knowledge, try to learn more and more, keep yourself inspired, because that's the only way you can improve yourself. And never do just the job, but also outside of the jobs. Like give them some time, learn more, and yeah, that's how you fill any gaps that you think you have, because nobody gonna tell you, okay, you don't know this, I'm gonna point my finger so at you. No, your colleagues are not gonna do that, and they will all try to help you because that helps the company also.
Great.
If I may, related to the last two questions, more from a hiring manager point
Yeah.
of view. When I look for a junior Android developer or junior software engineer position, there is a component that is related to the technical skill and expertise, but there is also a strong component about your attitude, your passion for what you do, and also an awareness of the fact that you are on a learning path and you are eager to like challenge yourself and learn next to maybe more senior people. And this is what, for example, I'm looking for when hiring or when interviewing candidates, like how they think about a problem and how they go about it, as Teresa was saying, their technical expertise, but also their passion about what they are doing.
Cool. That's really great. And I have one more question for you, Francesca. How do you know, or what advice can you give to everyone watching out there to know if a job offer is right for them?
I'm a very feeling person. I can talk about the way I go about it.
Sure.
For me, it's very important when I look for a job that the job gives me the feeling of thrill, of going to work to do something that have an impact. Impact can be interpreted in different ways, but I need to wake up in the morning with a feeling like I had when I was 6 years old and go for the first day of school and like be ready at 7 a.m. with a backpack ready because I wanted to do something nice. And if the job you are in give you that thrill, then it's the right job for you. And this is because you do something you're passionate about, but also because in the job you are or the job you're looking for, you are surrounded by people that make your day, and be surrounded by the people that inspire you or help you learn and grow as an engineer is also the component of making you having the thrill in the morning at 7 a.m.
Yeah. Thank you so much. That's really great. And I think also hopefully helpful to everyone watching out there. Okay, so we have one more question, and let's give this one to Ayn. What technologies and frameworks are most useful for getting hired as an Android developer right now, according to you? So let me repeat that because I kind of stumbled over it. What technologies and frameworks are most useful for getting hired as an Android developer right now, in your opinion?
Well, right now there are some popular libraries and technologies out there like Arch, Java, Daggers. Uh, Also, that you need to know architecture of the application, and if you are inspired about the newly released libraries from Google, like architecture components, Kotlin, they are really welcome, but they are not applicable yet, as like not widely applicable, but people are tending to switch to it, and it's really good to learn those things. And yeah, I think there isn't much, like you have to have some soft skill, of course, because they really look for people that will be fit into the company culture, because that's really important to companies. And also that I think like other skills about development is like using GitHub. uh, yeah, that's probably what people are looking for right now.
Okay, and Teresa, did you have anything to add to that?
Well, I think Anne's pretty much covered everything. For me, the one thing I wished I knew a lot much better when I started working was Git and GitHub. So I actually was working on something and I had no idea what GitHub was, and my colleagues had no idea that I didn't have any idea at all. So one day my computer crashed and I lost all my work, and they just looked at me and were like, "Oh, do you not push this to GitHub? And you can start from there." And then I realized, oh dear, probably should have learned. So yeah, so for me, like things like GitHub, Git version control, it would be good to get a hang of as well before you start working.
Okay, cool. Thank you guys so much. Okay, so those are the main questions that we're going to cover that were pre-submitted to us. So right now we're opening up the floor to the live Q&A. Okay, so our first question comes from Marco. How did you use your portfolio during interviews? What did you highlight? And did you display your Nanodegree apps only, or did you build your own apps? So we kind of touched on this a little bit, but maybe Francesca, could you hop in here and answer that one?
I normally put my GitHub on my CV, and that's the way I show my portfolio. And from an hiring manager perspective, this is the first things I will look at, or I will ask about. Okay, do you have any GitHub? Do you have any other public repository we can have a look at? And what is very important for me is having a README in each of the projects, where I highlighted what this project is about, what decision I've been making, and what framework I've been using. So I give an idea from the reader of a person, or a person that is looking at my GitHub, of what I was trying to achieve in that project. Using screenshot is also very nice and appreciated. So if you fancy and if you have the time, I will suggest that as well. That they will show some care in presenting your work in the nice ways possible.
Okay, great, thank you. Okay, so we can jump on to the next questions from Nastya. Did the Udacity certificate matter at being employed rather than your own practice? So for example, was the Nanodegree kind of like a real gateway to be employed? Let's have Teresa, actually. Can you jump into this one?
Sure. Even though I got my job before I completed my Nanodegree, I felt that, having this Udacity and then saying that you're working towards a Nanodegree is a great thing for employers, because they can see that you're actually dedicated to learning and achieving something. So I do feel that the degree is fairly useful, and my colleagues and friends as well, they're quite encouraging. So I did the first Android Basics, and then when the scholarship came up for the Android Nanodegree, they all encouraged me to take up, and they notified me saying, hey, you should do this. So yeah, I think it's been very useful.
Great. Okay, and what about you, Ayn? What do you think about the yeah, how much the certificate mattered when you were looking for jobs and getting employed.
Well, my colleagues, when I told them like I am like certified Android developer from Google, and also that I'm taking on the Nano degree course, they was like wow, they were wowing over me. Like, okay, I didn't know there is such thing, and they asked me like whether they can look for it, can they apply for the exams and such thing like that. I said yeah, it's really help, and yeah, they like there are developers that doesn't have any degree on Android and they still are developers, right? But the factor that I had my nano degree and my certification on, they gave it like a bonus point to take me into for interview, so they can see like okay, this guy is somewhat promising. He has spent some time on learning. Give him a chance and interview him, and yeah, that's also a bonus for me.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you. And Francesca, could you jump in on this one as well?
Yes, so I can relate to an experience of a tester that we have here in the studio, that she decided to go for she wanted to be an Android developer, and she came to me and said, Francesca, what do you think I should do? And I said, definitely go for the Udacity Nano degree. And I say that to her because I found the Nano degree a very structured and a very structured way to learn, and also not abstract, but related to a real case scenario of building a real app with a network, with a database. So I was confident that at the end of the degree, she would have get enough theory and practice to be able to cope as an Android developer. So she now has changed her job title from QA engineer to Android engineer.
Wow.
Thanks to the Nano degree.
Wow, that's really amazing. Okay, thank you for sharing that. This is so cool. I hope everyone watching out here is really finding all of your guys' expertise and experience to be really helpful. So yeah, because I think that these are questions that really are on the top of a lot of their minds. So okay, so let's go through with one last question to close it out. And we can start with Ayn. Where do you find inspiration for your new projects?
For my new projects, well, I don't really like often create new projects. My inspiration is like to redo my old projects, like come back to it, refactor it, apply my new skills on it, instead like scratch it and start the new one, because that's the easiest way, like just to create a new project, new thing with new technologies from the scratch. But in real world, there are much more cases that you have to refactor your old code and improve it. So that's what I apply to my project also. I keep them fresh, updated, and my inspiration is like to apply everything I learn to that project and keep it grow. And yeah, that is pretty fun for me.
Okay, cool. Thank you. And Teresa, what about you?
I guess I'm kind of similar. So for me, I try to think of what I would like to use, and then also what sort of technologies that I want to try. So like I wanted to try Kotlin, architecture components, Room. So I think of a simple project that I can integrate and use them. And yeah, so that's what I've been doing on like my own personal projects, just to try out different technologies and see what I like more.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Francesca, what about you?
For me, it's a part about try new technology, or try way in which new technology integrates with each other and how they can work together. But also, like sometimes when you go through life, you struggle to find something in the App Store that fit your requirements. So now you can build it. That is great. And especially if you have friends that are as passionate as you are, like do hackathon with them. You have no idea how many crazy things can come up when a couple of people or a group of people come together and they try to mix mash all their great ideas.
Yeah, cool. Thank you so much. That's really great to hear. So we have reached the end. First of all, I want to say thank you for all of your attention, and also thank you for bearing with us with our technical difficulties. Also, a huge thanks to all three of you guys for, this is something extra that you guys are doing, and it's really appreciated. Your passion and your dedication to sharing knowledge and just sharing your experiences with everyone is really appreciated. And yeah, I just want to say a big thanks to that. So for all of you guys, if we weren't able to answer all of your questions, feel free to send me a message on Slack at joanna.udacity, or you can reach out to any of the other 3 community managers that you know and love. And we will try to get back to you guys with answers as soon as we can. One more thing we wanted to mention was we are doing a raffle for some Udacity swag for all of you guys out there that submitted any questions for the webinar. So stay tuned on that, and we will get back to you guys with the winners of the raffle. So yeah, that's it for us today. And again, a big thanks. And yeah, have a good rest of the evening and continue working on your course. Okay, thanks guys. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Keep on learning.